welcome to our 5K Tennis US Open discussion. Today is Friday, September the 6th, 2019, and we are on show 123. Hola y bienvenido a otra discusión de 5K Tenis del Abierto de los Estados Unidos. Hoy es viernes, el 6 de septiembre de 2019 y estamos en el programa 123.
I always love that. Highlight of the show for me is that. And by the way, Carla just taught her first Spanish class, so exciting news for Carla. I think it's wonderful to go out and teach people things. We coach tennis, but for her to go out and teach people Spanish for the first time took courage, and I think she probably did a pretty good job, right?
I hope so.
All right, well, kudos for that, vamos, as I would say. But the women's semifinals are set, and the men's semifinals are about to begin. They're going to be coming up here shortly. So we are going to discuss a couple of matches that had not taken place when we did the last show. We're going to talk about the women's semifinals, predict and talk about the men's finals. And we're going to jump into that right off. Real quickly, I want to go ahead and announce one winner of the fantasy team competition. The competitor, George Thomas, cannot be caught. So George Thomas, please get up with us either right here in comments and give us your email or address or whatever. Most of those that win generally email us, which is
5ktennis@mail.com. 5ktennis@mail.com.
Yeah, and then we'll get whatever you decide out to you. So either a 5K tennis shirt, a YTEX shirt, or jacket. Again, the size are limited in the jackets. Or 2 sets of YTEX strings. So just communicate with us and we'll get it to you no matter where you are. We sent a racket to London during Wimbledon and we sent strings twice to Poland.
We sent to Scotland for shirts. I've also sent to Serbia, which apparently takes
like 3 months to
get there. Yeah.
So George Thomas has secured the number 1 spot. That was a great team George Thomas had. It was stellar. One of the best teams of the year that we've done. Very solid. Also to the 2nd spot, and there's still one more winner. There's like 8 of you competing for it. So I won't announce the last winner until we do our last US Open show. So stay tuned for that. There's about 8 of you that are very much alive in that competition. So that spot is still playing out. So what Carla and I do plan to do, though, is we wrap this year of shows up. And again, we'll do some periodic until the Australian Open. Maybe we'll do a Shanghai racket. We haven't quite decided that. But we're going to do like a kind of an end-of-the-year rewards or an awards show segment tomorrow. Like the most supportive, the people that have contributed awards, the people that made us laugh, the feisty ones that come across professionally. Well, maybe we're going to have some type of awards show, like the best of the year, like not the ESPYs, but we'll call them the 5Ts. Something.
The 5K.
The 5KTs. Something, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. We'll have something fun with that. So be ready for that. Funniest comment of the year, best comment of the year, most courageous deal of the year, whatever. All right. So anyway, we'll have fun with that one. So let's jump in right now to get caught up on the men's side because we missed a couple of men's matches. I think it was Berrettini and Monfils, I think. And I forget what the other match was. That
it was Nadal Schwartzman.
There you go.
Because it was forgettable. That's what you forgot.
Yeah, so real quickly, Monfils Berrettini. I mean, to me, good for Berrettini and good for Monfils. I don't know what to expect from Berrettini. I must be honest. I have not seen Berrettini play much more than, say, a handful of times.
Let's just say that was a long match. It was 5 sets, 3-6, 6-3, 6-2, 3-6, 7-6. There were times where we saw Monfils kind of disappearing. He was in control of the first set. It looked like Berrettini was lost, didn't know what to do. And then he won the 2nd set, won the 3rd set. And then Monfils got the crowd pumped in, got some energy. He looked like he was just leaning over with his racket. And then Berrettini actually had match point several times. He was serving for this at 5-4, and they ended up in the tiebreaker 7-6. So I don't know how much energy Berrettini is going to have after playing that match, being that Nadal just cruised in 3 sets, really.
Berrettini can hit the ball.
Yes, he can.
He's got a wide open game.
He's got a nice forehand.
Yeah, his forehand is demolition. I mean, it's nasty. If it's consistent, can he compete with Nadal? I still don't think so. I think Nadal is going to be way too much for Berrettini in the upcoming match.
They've never played against each other.
He's going to...
And I'm sorry, but Nadal looks like he's in one of the best shapes of his life. I remember him looking like that when he won, I think, 3 slams in a year, was it, or 2?
That was at 2010?
I think so.
He was in beast mode in 2010, and that was an impressive 2010 year. I can't quite say he's as fit as he was in 2010.
I mean, he's 33 years old.
I still can't.
And he's wearing the purple tank shirt. I mean, he looks solid. The way he came out of the first set, his serve looked better. It looks like he's been actually working on the serve a lot. I mean, let's be real, guys. He should have 19. Really, there's nothing that's stopping him. I don't see anybody stopping him. Not Dimitrov, not Medvedev, not Berrettini. If he loses, it will be shocking. This is his opportunity to get 19. Really.
Schwartzman Nadal was an entertaining match. Just the crowd.
Schwartzman is a great player. I mean, for his stature to be able to hit the ball like that, run like that, it's impressive.
The match was entertaining. The crowd was entertaining during that match. But just like Nadal was too much for Schwartzman, I still think Nadal is going to be way too much for Berrettini. But hey, okay, so let's ask ourselves a question. Is this just a magical run for Berrettini, or are we going to see a lot more from Berrettini moving forward?
I think the type of game that he has, he's a power player. He can play on grass, as we saw this year. He can play on clay. He can play on hard court. So he can play on all surfaces. He's not like Fognini. He is the much taller, much more improved Italian player than Fognini is. He has weapons. He knows how to slice very well. Has a great serve, racket speed. Is real quick on that forehand. I think he'll do fine. I think he'll do better, honestly, than Zverev.
Do you think you'll see Berrettini in another major semifinal?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Especially when these guys are, Novak and Nadal and Federer all retire from the game. I mean, these guys are going to be the ones that we'll be watching in Grand Slam semis or finals.
Is Berrettini better than any American men's player right now?
Absolutely. Who, Tiafoe, Opelka? He's got more of an all-around game, and he actually thinks out there, and he digs deep and fights, which is something that I saw Opelka beat Fognini, but then in the second match, he had nothing left in the tank. It almost looked like he wanted to quit.
Okay, last question pertaining to the Berrettini-Monfils match. Did Monfils play extremely well during the Berrettini match, therefore making Berrettini an excellent player that beat an excellent player, or did he just beat a player that's kind of on his last leg and it's just a Cinderella story for Berrettini being here? I'm not saying either or, but how big of a win for Berrettini was it over Monfils?
He did say he watched Monfils when he was a kid and he was amazed by his athleticism and stuff. I think Monfils was the typical Monfils, looking tired, looking like he has no more in the tank. It wasn't a great match. There was a lot of double faults. There was a lot of mistakes in this match, really. Monfils should have kept going after the first set. Should have won that second set. So it wasn't a great match.
Monfils has used that tactic. We call it the rope-a-dope. It's kind of a boxer. You're kind of acting like you're putting your guard down, and then you capitalize on that. Kind of like, the rope-a-dope. So Monfils has used that against Djokovic before, making it look like he's just out of it and can't walk, and all of a sudden he jumped. I mean, that's an old tactic. I think it's a clown tactic. I do like Monfils. I'm not saying Monfils is a clown. I like Monfils a lot. But again...
One of Monfils' last chances, because his time is ticking as well.
Yeah, great run for Monfils. Have we seen the last of Monfils? Is this the deepest Monfils will ever go again in a major?
I think so, yes.
I hope not. I do like Monfils a lot. Again, Nadal, Berrettini, predict the score, Carla. What you got?
I say like 6-4, 6-4, 6-3, something like that. I don't even think Berrettini will win a set.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it might be, a feel each other out first set, maybe a 6-4 in there, maybe a 7-5.
Berrettini better hope he plays at night. I think the schedule already came out, so I'll look at it in a second, but I wanted to read a comment from one of our viewers, one of our friends that we play doubles with. And I've read a lot of your comments. A lot of you guys are not really excited about this men's U.S. Open. Maybe more exciting about the women, but I've had quite a few people complain about how boring the matches have been this U.S. Open, even on the women's side. Not just one person, quite a few.
I would disagree with that.
There's been a few matches where really you have to switch the channel. You're like, really?
Yes and no. I think it depends on the style of fan you are and who you like to watch.
We have Vekic and Benkic. That was not a great match to watch. It really wasn't.
I mean, maybe not stellar tennis, but I watched that match. We watched that match. I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay.
You had either Hyung Wang against Serena Williams. It was so quick. You know, there were just some matches that you've got to agree with them. I mean, you had Svitolina against Keys was quick. Against Konta was okay. Serena Martic, you know, it was just some matches were not that exciting. We could pick a few that were.
Surprisingly enough, this U.S. Open, we have not had to pull out the Screech level index meter except for just a short amount of time.
I'm sure in doubles we didn't watch doubles. So.
That's a good question.
Because Azarenka and Barty are in the finals.
But Barty's not a squealer.
But Azarenka is.
Yeah, but that would be like a...
And Sabalenka's on the other side playing right now.
That would be like a .50 squeal because it's just half your team.
Well, let me. I don't know if
But it hasn't come out, right? Except for Lorenzi.
Never.
So it's been a fairly low-key squealing major as well.
I don't know if anybody agrees. Patrick, I told Patrick that I was going to mention this comment. He wrote to me last night. I guess he didn't find the match last night against Andreescu and Benchik too exciting. And I had another guy, Cesc Lopez, same thing. He didn't find the match exciting at all. I do have to agree with them. There was a lot of, we'll talk about that in a bit. But he said, hi, is it just me or is there a dearth of high quality, entertaining matches this year at the US Open in the men's and women's singles? I just find myself turning off most matches. Boring. Also, if Medvedev wins, then he will be the first champion to be fined for his poor sportsmanship. Even the match Djokovic retires. The monotony of Zverev versus Schwartzman match showed how Zverev does not have much variety in his shot selections and virtually no net game. Well, probably won't stay to see this current match.
Okay, I mean, it's a good message, but you know, I think a lot of people would agree with it, and I think a lot of people would disagree with it. Again, I think at this level, this deep into a tournament, I think all tennis is good tennis.
I think all tennis, but how many of you really watched Schwartzman and Nadal? I know a lot of you didn't. I thought Wade and Chia did. We did.
Well, we did, and we'll be honest, we did turn it off just towards
after the second set.
After the second set, I to be honest, but it was late again. We had 5 kids, and we were kind of crashed out in the first place, and we're like, should we stay up? Is it gonna? You know, so it was one of those things like we're going to be beat tomorrow if we stay up, but is really Nadal going to lose? So we turned it off. So yeah, I mean, I agree with that there in a sense, but nonetheless, it was still good tennis. So I think that will be met with a coin toss response. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some people that agree and some people that disagree. I would have to disagree slightly with that though. I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Okay.
Fast forward to the final real quickly. We've talked about Schwartzman and Nadal. We talked about Berrettini and Nadal. We talked about Monfils and Berrettini. What happens, though, first of all, between Medvedev and Dimitrov?
That, to me, is a coin toss, 50-50. They played each other 2 times, 1-1. It's a head-to-head. I have to ask myself, is Medvedev tired? I know a lot of viewers have said he's been admitting that he's been taking a lot of painkillers to get through his matches. I don't know if that's a great or smart thing to do, but it's available to him. And Dimitrov, really, I don't think to me that he played a Federer that was playing at his best. Honestly, I think if Federer would have played at his best, he would have won in 3 sets. If Djokovic would have supposedly hurt shoulder, left shoulder, I think Djokovic could have beat him. Nadal would have beat him in straight sets. Heck, I think even if we would have put someone like
Zverev,
Wawrinka on the other side, Zverev
sure.
could have given him trouble. So I don't know that he's going to beat
Demon or any of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a dream draw, really, a few retirements and players that are around his level. Alex de Minaur. We had the lucky loser, Mashras. He didn't get to play Coric because that was a walkover. He did get to play Seppi, which is a veteran. So I don't know. I mean, he really hasn't had to play tough opponents.
Who? Roger?
Dimitrov.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. To me, this is a toss-up.
But even as well, Roger. I mean, Roger had what? I have to pull out my jaw. But Roger had what? Goffin in there. Prior to that, he had Evans, no disrespect there, and then he had Jumour, and then the Indian kid Nadal. So no respect to any of those players, but none of those players, in my opinion, were at a
challenge them enough.
Okay, I like that challenge level. So when you were teaching Spanish class, and I was just writing out some notes to bring up when you brought up the match or whatever. I wrote the same thing she just said, same brainwave. That's not surprising. I wrote, can Dimitrov play like he did against Federer? However, did Federer even play that good in that match? Didn't Federer spray off something like 55 or 58 unforced errors? And I think that wasn't even when the match was over. I think that was like in the deciding set, he had shot off something like 55 unforced errors. You just can't win matches that way.
No, you can't.
You just can't. So, but in terms of the win there, I'm going to give the edge to Medvedev. I just am. Can Dimitrov win it? I don't know. I don't think Federer played very well, and I don't think Dimitrov has had that tough a test. And I think Medvedev, I think he's a fighter. But
is he tired? Is the question. I mean, he's had 4 sets against Wawrinka. I think he went 4 with Kofner. Then he played Lopez, another 4 there. Let's see. I mean, he's had a lot of matches.
Now, he's been running that whole WWE wrestling type, written in, sometimes scripted deal with the crowd afterwards. So, is it theatrics? Is he that tired? I know he cramped up a little bit, but, he still won the match. I think, what was that, his third round, a round of 16 match, I don't recall, or maybe even second round match. I don't buy into a lot of it. Don't shoot me for saying that, but I think Medvedev is well ready to beat Dimitrov, and I think Medvedev will meet Nadal in the final. Do you agree or disagree?
I think so. I mean, Medvedev, he's gone 4 sets. It's, most of it's been 4 sets.
Okay, moving toward the final. How gritty, how dirty, how hard can Medvedev grind? Can Medvedev even remotely think about competing in a prize fight against Rafael Nadal?
I don't think so. I don't think that Nadal's going to give him the chance. I don't think he's going to shank balls like Wawrinka did. And the whole pushing thing is not going to work. I don't think so.
I think there will be some theatrics in the match. I think it's going to be an interesting kind of...
we know the crowd's going to be pulling for Nadal. We know this already.
It's going to be I have a feeling it's going to be a really interesting match to watch. I'm not going to say great. Maybe it's the best thing since sliced bread. But I think it's going to be well worth watching because I think there's going to be some pretty intense vamos.
Well, didn't Nadal beat him at the Rogers Cup?
There's going to be some intensity in this match. And there is going to be some involvement with Medvedev in the crowd. And Nadal is going to be just absolutely pumped up, So I think the energy will be good. I think Nadal, though, does win his 19th major here. I just think
so. Now, do we think Federer is happy that Nadal might win his 19 and just 1 behind him?
I don't think he's inherently happy.
He's like, geez, how did they get that close to me so quickly?
I'm assuming, though, if Federer had a choice of who can surpass me, and I had to choose between Djokovic or Nadal, I'm assuming Federer is glad it's Nadal and not Djokovic. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, but Djokovic is still 4 away, and like we said, Serena's just trying to get her one to tie Margaret Court, and she still can't do it.
Yeah, so I think it will be a Medvedev-Nadal final. I think that would be the most exciting final. Let's look at it. If Berrettini played Dimitrov in the final, I don't think it would be maybe as exciting as it could be, but I think the most exciting final would be Medvedev and Nadal, and the rest is history.
I agree.
But I think Nadal will overpower him as the elite prize fighter here. I think Medvedev still has a lot to learn. Fitness, gym, size, strength. Learn how to channel his energy correctly, not always negative at the end.
Someone mentioned that he's just going to be a one-time hit. That's it.
Maybe still, sometimes you have to channel the negative energy, for a little while if it gets you off in a way. But sometimes you want to flip that back to the positive. Because, again, if it's not for the crowd, you're not there. If it's not for the crowd, you'll have sponsors. And I think the great champions eventually realize that. Moving forward, I think Nadal wins his 19th. Women's semifinals. Let's go ahead and jump into the women's side. Again, we only have a couple matches, and I have some topics at the end, kind of blinded topics for Carla that I did while she, again, was teaching her Spanish class. Super proud of you for that, though. Really nice.
Well, we had Serena Williams defeated and crushed Svitolina 6-3, 6-1. What more can we say about this? It was pretty much 6-3, 6-1.
Yeah.
No chance there. But again, Svitolina was not serving like she did against her other opponents. I don't know if she felt more pressure. Being that Serena was on the other side. Good run for her to get to the semifinals. Nothing to get down about. We knew this would be a tough match for her. And I face out Bianca Andreescu, which I'm sure Serena is not happy about. We watched this match last night. It was not a great match. Belinda Bencic had so many break points against Andreescu. Almost every single game we watch Andreescu not be able to put one first serve in. Everything was second serves. And Bencic would slice back, which was not smart because here we go back to deuce. So many. One thing I can say about Andreescu is that she knows how to dig deep. Even though she was not serving well, she always put pressure on Bencic when she was down. Always. She always hit the ball. I was telling Justin and a few of you that I was having conversations with that, to me, Belinda Bencic looks like a better version of Martina Hingis. She can guide the ball, but she has no meat behind. There's no meat. There's no power behind her shots, where Andreescu, she's using her legs, everything to put pace into that ball. And Bencic paid the price for it. The second set, Bencic had an opportunity to win it, 5-2. Could not capitalize, and Andreescu won that set 7-5. So it was not great tennis, but we did see a few points from Andreescu, her digging deep and getting out of the trouble. So she knows how to do that by mooning the ball, slicing the ball, hitting the ball, mooning the ball. So this will be a good match. We know Andreescu's up 1-0 due to retirement. It would have been 1-0 anyways. She would have won that match, I think, at the Rogers Cup, in my opinion. I think for Serena to win this match, serve big, keep the points very short. The longer they go, the better it goes for Andreescu because she can moon that ball. I do think she's not going to moon the ball against Serena because Serena will put those balls away where Bencic could not. She would just hit it back to her.
Real quickly on the Svitolina versus Serena match. I don't need to repeat anything. I don't disagree. Too much. Just too much. Svitolina did great to be here a year ago. She was in a much lesser of shape. Didn't have the same results. So I think career is kind of, it went up and then came down. I think it's on the back up. So she should be applauded for her year, first and foremost. And Serena looks to be on that kind of same trajectory in a way, but Svitolina gets the standing ovation here for being here. Serena's been here before quite a lot of times, so congratulations to Svitolina. Just wasn't enough. Next year, we'll see her then in a sense. I'm sure she'll play a few more at the end of the year. Bencic Andreescu. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Bencic gave up, I think it was a double break in the first set and a double break in the second set. I may be wrong there. Don't kill me. I didn't look that up.
No, she didn't. The first set was...
I get it was 7. I think she was up, though, like 4-2 or 4-1 in the first set.
No, she could never break Andreescu. They kept 1-2, 1-1, 2-2,
okay,
3-3,
my fault.
4-4.
She was up a double break in the second
points.
set. She was up a double break. She was up 4-1 in the second set.
Yes.
Anyway, maybe it's that she just gave up so many break points. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I will stand corrected for my thoughts on Andreescu up to this point. Now I'm beginning to believe, and I'll explain why I'm beginning to change my mind in a way. The way she has fought this tournament, her fitness looks better. She does not look like she's been divulging in the wrong diet since this run during hardcourt season. It looks like she has trimmed down, which is respectful for me. I'm big on diet. I'm just big on diet. Forgive me, but that's very important for me and what we do here. Number one, but number two, finding herself in situations she doesn't really ever ease the throttle back. She doesn't push her way to the finish line. She just goes, and then if she's missing things when she's just trying to go, she doesn't it doesn't, and I'm just assuming, I'm not inside of her mind, but it looks like she doesn't tell herself, well, let me just stop hitting and massaging.
She keeps doing it.
She just keeps going.
She does it again.
And then keeps telling herself if it's not, if it's not going correctly, then she's just going to, come on, wake up and find it. That's what I feel when I see her play. And again, a testament to her fitness moving forward. But her match against Bencic was a result of continuing to push, finding her range, completing her mission, and executing her game plan without wavering from it. She kept going at her, even down a double break in the second. She pushed her way through, kept firing missiles, and got another win. So I'm beginning to believe, kind of like the Matrix, but I think that Andreescu, playing like that, if Serena Williams does not keep the points short, and that is...
1-2.
Yeah, I mean...
Basically, 1-2.
Serve +1.
That's it.
Serena needs to serve +1, meaning serve as soon as return goes by, the +1 shot for the winner. And then on returns, if Andreescu misses a first, she has no choice but to try to crush the second. And if she wins, she wins. But if she gets into a hitting contest with Andreescu, she's going to lose. And it might even be another 4-1 or 3-1 retirement.
I don't think she will retire at the U.S. Open. She will not do that. Just because last year was not a good year at the U.S. Open Finals, she'll have to play this out. There's no excuses here. Here's probably one of your last chances to get another one. I mean, because time is ticking for Serena as well. We see a lot of young, hungry players now. They're starting to, rise much quicker than the guys, actually. So, I mean, to me, this is a 50-50. Usually, when Serena plays a final, I say it's Serena 100%. But to me, this one's 50-50. I like them both. I love Serena. I like Andreescu. But I can't decide I don't know who's going to win this one. The youngster has nothing to lose. Nothing to lose whatsoever. Serena has more to lose, more pressure than anything. So.
Is it safe to say that these last couple of majors, less the Wimbledon final, that match on the men's side, Federer-Djokovic match, is it safe to say that the women's last couple of majors have been, in a long shot, more exciting than the men's?
Definitely.
I mean, quite enough.
The women's is more exciting, but hopefully the score is not so lopsided as it was at Wimbledon when Halep defeated Serena. It was quick.
Yeah, the Serena Andreescu match.
You got two big girls playing. Because Andreescu's not a tiny girl; she's a big, thick girl.
All right, here's kind of a poll question in a sense. Let's comment on this one. Does anyone think or doubt that there will be some very odd, dramatic theatrics in this final between Serena and Andreescu, whether it's someone crying or
I don't think so.
or someone yelling at an umpire or someone throwing a racket or some? Do you think there's going to be any type of potentially scripted, weird, odd, crazy
nothing's going to be scripted?
Did we just watch that happen?
Nothing, because last year Osaka had the coach that was her hitting partner that left her camp. There's nothing here. These two get along. It's going to be a fight. It's going to either be quick or it's going to be a fight. We're not going to see drama. Drama happened last year.
You sure about that?
I'm 1,000,000% sure.
Is everyone out there...
I'm 1,000,000% sure. We're not going to see that.
Is everyone out there certain?
Oh, yes.
100% certain that there will be no really odd theatrics that occur at tomorrow's U.S. Open final between Serena Williams and Bianca Andreescu?
I'm sure.
I have a feeling there is going to be some WWE stuff in that joint.
I don't think so. They like each other. By the way, I can see where she gets her mama's cheeks and her fashion sense from her mama, right? You got to see her mom? Interesting. And she kind of reminds me of Serena's mom. Big hair, loud outfits,
She has a little dog, though. I like big dogs. Like, what's up?
But she's a lady. Kind of reminds me of Serena's mom. Same thing with the big hair, curly hair. The color,
big
the colorful clothes.
Dogs.
They're about the same. Pretty interesting ladies.
Little whippersnappers, not my thing. I like the big dogs. All right, you ready? So the last segment of the show, and we're going to wrap it up.
Well, let's talk about the men's double.
Sorry. I didn't know you had that.
We had the men's doubles champions from Colombia. These guys have been playing for a while together. They've been doing so well. Juan Sebastián Cabal and Robert Farah from Colombia defeated Marcelo Granollers from Spain and Horacio Ceballos. They're your new U.S. Open champion. These guys have had a pretty good year. I think one of the guys that we knows these gentlemen, right? They've made it to the final of Wimbledon. They made the semis at the French, won the Barcelona Open together, Italian Open, Eastbourne International. So they've had a good run, and most of the other tournaments are quarterfinals, semifinals. Yeah,
one of our, as Carlos was mentioning, one of our friends, Rolando Vargas. He coaches Troy State University's men's tennis team. We did some coaching together at a couple of clubs. He knows these guys. Rolando was a former Mexican player. He knows these guys has been talking about him for a while, and what do you know? Here they are. Good job for these guys. Doubles is a different game mentally for me. It's a whole different ball game. The court gets smaller. Your spots are harder to hit. Otherwise, there's a racket on your ball pretty quick. I always tip my hat to doubles players because it's a science. It's definitely a maestro type movement, especially if you're really good, right? Mm-hmm. All right, ending up the show with 12 rapid fire questions, but I want to do this 12 rapid fire questions a little bit differently. Instead of me asking the questions quick, I'm going to ask the questions, and then let's just discuss each one for a minute or two. All right? Do that in comments. Elaborate. So this is the slower show because there's only a couple of matches, so we'll elaborate on these 12 questions, which are semi-topics, okay? So just discuss for a minute instead of yes or no. All right, question number 1. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Question number 1. Are we watching the rise of Bianca Andreescu to the very top of the women's game?
Yes.
Why?
Well, she's had a awesome hardcourt season. She's won almost every hardcourt that she's played.
Okay. Besides that, what are some attributes that Bianca has?
She's a fighter. She digs deep. Even when her opponents have her, she keeps fighting back. She's not a defense player. She's always on the offense. Really, she knows how to play the game. Very smart. She's a fighter.
Would you say she's fearless?
She is definitely fearless. I think B-Dog, that's your girl right there. So, yeah, she's fun to watch. I'm sorry. She's not this skinny little thing. She is a strong girl.
She has slimmed down the past couple of months.
She's a
That's
strong
a fact.
girl. She's a strong girl.
Maybe she listened to our show and it's paying off.
I doubt that, but she is very strong, and it's good to see. And you know what? I like to see her game. She knows how to mix it up. She makes it fun.
Would you agree that she's able to dig deep and pump herself up?
Yes, and that's why I think she'll be more successful than any of the other young girls coming out. I think Sabalenka's time, Sakari's time, I have a hard time against this girl.
Again, for me,
Osaka too better start working hard because Andreescu will be a tough girl to beat.
One small, again, I mentioned this in the last show, the way Andreescu holds her racket in between her left hand here, there's a reason for that. I think Wildlife One mentioned in comments in the last show that he heard some commentators saying because her hand was tired. That's totally incorrect. It's not because of that. It's because the hand wants to breathe. When we get in the shower, it turns into a raisin. And then if you're hitting with that and the racket spins, it can cause your skin to tear with blisters. She does that because she's well coached, and good coaches know that we want the right hand or our playing hand to breathe, and we don't want it wet for any longer or our grips longer for any longer than we need be. And then I can guarantee you that's why she does that. So I think that's a touch of class there. So ultimately, I'm beginning to believe, and I know I gave her a hard time this entire year. Okay, I'm beginning to believe. Question number 2. How much longer does Serena Williams play? And does it make a difference whether she wins tomorrow or not? That determines how much longer she does play.
Absolutely. I think if she wins tomorrow, she'll continue playing because she wants to pass Margaret Court. If she ties at 24, she'll continue to play. If she doesn't win, I think that we'll see her probably decide at the end of the year whether she'll continue playing. Because, I mean, you've had here 3 chances now. 3 in this year. You got Wimbledon, you got US Open, and she had a chance at the Australian, right? Mm-hmm. Did she? Or did she lose early at the Australian?
That's a great question. I do not recall.
So she had US Open last year, she had Wimbledon, and then she had US Open again. And so the year before that was US Open, Wimbledon, again US Open, Wimbledon. She has not been able to do it.
In my opinion, I think it's young girls like this Andreescu girl that will ultimately force her out of the game.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm saying this because 3 months ago I was giving Andreescu a really hard time for being out of shape. But when you're that age and it looks like she's conditioned herself quite a good bit between when we started ranting about her fitness to now, it looks like she's put work on it on her team. So congratulations to her and her team.
Well, she's younger too. It's easier when you're younger. I mean, for Serena, it's been tough to get in shape.
But these young girls, such as Barty, such as Andreescu, such as Osaka, with these girls, and there's more. Do these type of girls ultimately end Serena's voyage to tie and break Margaret Court? Do they? I mean, can she compete with them anymore at this level? I guess
she can. It's only a few. I mean, she's made it to finals. There's only a few, and not only that, every final she's kind of not something happens to her. She tanks. Look at what Halep. She couldn't play. I mean, she did it with Kerber too. Same thing. Osaka, same thing.
I think Serena plays another year either way because of a few things. Number one, sponsors and her desire to be diva-ish in a sense in the limelight. She enjoys it. It's her thing. Number two, she hangs out with some royalty, with the prince of somewhere, Meghan Markle or something or whatever. And they kind of do this whole deal where I think it makes probably Serena feel princessy, and I don't think she's ready to give that up. I think there is some joy of the red carpet for Serena, and I don't think she's going to give it up that quick, especially with a young daughter. So I don't think either win or loss that she's going to give that up after this U.S. Open. I think she plays another year, goes through the Olympics, and then we'll see what happens. So that's where I'm at kind of with Serena. I love Serena again, but I do think there's a future big three in women's tennis like there is a big three or has been in men's tennis. I think Barty, Osaka, and Andreescu right now are primed to be the big three. Agree or disagree?
Sure, agree.
Maybe so, maybe not, right? Question number 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being just okay and 10 being incredibly excellent, Carla right here at the big age of 40 years old and a mother of 5 children goes out into the world and teaches her inaugural Spanish class to our little island here of Dolphin Island. How proud of you are of her? I'm going to 10. Let me tell you why. She's not going to say anything because she's like, what? Number 1, just to go out, she's never been a fan of public speaking. It kind of always freaks her out. Like when we do karaoke here, I love some karaoke. Get down. At first she's like really kind of subdued, and da-da-da-da, but now she's kind of loosened up. But with perfect strangers, she's even worse. When I first met her, she wouldn't even talk to anybody I knew, just because she was shy. Anyway, but for her to go out there, number 1, is courageous, 10 of 10. It takes a good soul to do that, right? It takes a good soul, a good spirit, a nice, happy person, even though she can be downright just horrendously mean at times. But nonetheless, it takes a good soul overall to get out there and get that done. Sharing language for me is equally as important as sharing tennis. Why do I say that? Tennis is an international language. I think it doesn't matter if you live in Antarctica or the Sahara Desert. If you can play the game, we'll still have a common ground of fun conversation, friends, fitness, and just sharing in a sense, right? Competition at the same time. Sharing language the same way. Tennis is international language, so language therefore is 1, 2. Bada bang, bada boom. And mental fitness. Studying makes you smarter. Sometimes I hate doing these numbers on the fantasy teams, but I realize after I get done, my mind's more complete for the day. Putting up with her is just rough, so it brings me back. I'm just kidding, obviously, but 10 out of 10, great job. Boom. I'm sure everyone gives you a 10 on that. All right? Much love. Get down. That's how we roll. Let's go. Come on. Woo! Yes. Whew. Fire me up. All right, number 4. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very high, how important are random acts of kindness to others?
Very important, 10.
Why? Why are random acts of kindness at 10 on a scale of 1 to 10?
Because there's people out there, you should always be willing to help. I mean, look, I wouldn't have had the Spanish class if it wasn't for Barbara and Barbara. I mean,
we wouldn't have the tennis courts if it wasn't
for them. So
we wouldn't have that tripod if it weren't for B-Dog02.
So everybody's helping each other out. Makes the world better. It makes it positive. It makes you feel good. When you help somebody out, it makes you feel good.
Yeah,
when they help you out, it makes you feel good. There's a lot of people here. It's a positive thing. We're, as human beings, we're so competitive and we want to tear each other down, which is terrible. So when someone does something nice for you, you should do something nice for the next person.
Pass it forward.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to buy someone's food at like a restaurant, but we haven't been to a restaurant in like 10 years.
I've had.
We cook for people.
I've had tolls paid for me and I pay the toll back, stuff like that, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My list real quick, life is short and life is very tough and it's not getting any easier. So what better than to pass on positive karma and get it in return by simply holding open a door for someone, picking up a piece of trash. You know what always gets under my skin is those things that hold like 6 packs of sodas or something, and they're plastic and they get wrapped around animals' necks. Like I was in San Francisco and I saw the seal and his head was almost hanging off because he had this thing stuck on his neck and that people couldn't get the seal. So I see those things and I stop what I'm doing and I pull them apart. Anyway, some of those type things. Good karma. Protect the planet. Open doors for others. Do your best. Be kind. Again, I've said this quote before. Be kind. Everyone's fighting a tough battle. There's not anybody watching the show right now that doesn't have something going on in an adverse way. It's just how we deal with it. And it's sometimes better to deal with things in our own right. If someone out of the blue, some stranger, opens the door for you. Anyway, pass it forward. Random acts of kindness are hugely important. Don't forget that. Question number 5. There are 2 forces of nature. Hold on, I got to check the camera because at 20 it stops and then flashes over. 40, 12. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. All right, question number 5. There are 2 forces of nature, fire and water. Which is more powerful?
Water.
Okay, I didn't think you would say that. That's what I said.
Water will wash fire, so we can keep going forever.
How else is water more powerful than fire?
Well, we need water to survive.
That's a good one. Okay. Life begins with water, so it can create and destroy.
Correct.
Right?
Everything started with water.
You can surf because waves are water.
But you got the, living things in the water. I mean...
You got fish in the water.
I just said that. I mean, everything needs water. Everything needs water.
You can snowboard because snow is water.
Well, I'm not even thinking of that way, but you need water.
Yeah, tsunamis are pretty powerful. Mm-hmm. All right, so that was pretty easy. I thought that would go deeper than that, but it just wasn't. So we were agreeing with water. All right, question number 6. The real problem with American men's tennis is what? Are Riley Opelka, Francis Tiafoe, and Taylor Fritz the future greats?
I think we saw a few kids come out. We saw Brooksby, and we saw, what's his name, Sack from California.
He was like a 16-year-old kid. Yeah,
we saw a 16-year-old. I mean, I don't think that they are the future of America, meaning Opelka, the future of America, the future tennis players, American tennis players, Opelka, Tiafoe, or, who's the other one? Hello?
Who?
Tiafoe, Opelka, and...
Fritz?
I don't think they are the future of men's American tennis. I think that the ones behind them will be.
Didn't we just... We had Taylor Fritz. Didn't we have McDonald?
Yeah, but they're all around the same age.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Okay.
We haven't seen what we've seen on the women's side. The women are more fierce. They're going to be... I think they're going to do a lot better.
Why is it, though? Why is it that we cannot... be at the top of the men's game at this point in time? Why?
Because they have no variety in their game. You got one that's just a big server. That's it. So he's replacing Isner. Tiafoe's game is just awkward. Whoever taught him that game, they never fixed his forehand. They never fixed his backhand. They never fixed his serve or his volleys. Everything's awful. It's just awful. And Taylor Fritz, I think that he could be the biggest one out of all of them.
Are there any societal or sociologic factors that play into this in the United States?
I think that the American tennis sometimes don't help American players. They help foreign players, and I'm sorry to say that. I think that has a lot to do with it. We give away our scholarships, and I hate to say this. They don't pay attention to the American players. They go out and look for it elsewhere and then bring them to the U.S.
Now, look, I just to come to the defense of some of the...
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
No,
I'm saying that's what's happening.
Let me clarify real quick. Carla indicates that we give our scholarships away to, say, Division I schools. She is correct.
We do.
Probably 8 out of every 10 players
they're not from here.
On any Division I team, and there may be some exceptions, and maybe some All-American, but let's just say and I don't want to over-exaggerate this percentage, but there's a high percentage of international players on All-American Division I teams. Well, here's the defense of the coaches and the athletic departments. Their statement is...
They want to win.
Well, that's number one. They want to win, obviously, or people lose their jobs. I understand that. Mm-hmm. But number 2, and actually isn't number 2, winning is number 1. Their number 1 is no one wants to work hard enough in the U.S. anymore on the men's side. So we know we can go and give someone a scholarship and they'll bust their tail.
Sure, because they're hungry. They're coming from...
They're hungrier.
But also, they don't go out and look for it. Instead, they get on a plane...
Fly over there
and spend more money and bring a player from there, and it costs you more money to bring a player here because now you got to pay for the scholarship, for their books, for their food because they have no family here.
Okay, here's the question. Carlo, we have been to clubs all over this country and taught at the gist of them.
They all teach the same. That's the problem, too.
Out of every club, how many students are just coached a forehand, almost no net game, and a bunch of moonballing? Almost all of
Almost
them.
all of them.
And
the
then
serve is abandoned.
and then we get them at a later age, and they're wondering, why can't my daughter win any or son win any matches? It's because they're all trained the same way. The net's out of it. The serve's kind of it seems like it's just disregarded, and they work on the forehand all day, and it's loopy at that. Same thing, I think, on the men's side. Number one,
it's not. Don't get this wrong, guys. I'm not saying it's wrong. Those guys deserve it. I mean, if that's what they want to do, it's not their fault they get the scholarship. Not their fault.
Yeah.
They're working hard for it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the U.S. The coaches here in the United States. The USTA needs to dedicate more time to the players that are here, and they do not. They want the easy thing. Let's bring the ones that are good already, put our names on it, and that's it.
No, I do think there's a little hypocrisy in a way, and that's a strong word. I think there's a double standard in what you're saying, though, because we do talk about tennis being an international language with no borders. All of that should be irrelevant. But you're saying that it's wrong to give scholarships?
No,
away.
I'm not saying it's wrong to give scholarships. What I'm saying is that instead of them trying to make the players here go out and go to the ghettos. Go where the people can't afford to take a tennis lesson. You might find a good athlete and turn them into a champion.
But from the business office or the athletic department, the executive is saying, okay, if I got to pay my coach to go travel all over the place to find one player, when I can send them to one place and have a look at 500 players because there's so many, they save the dollar by going there and giving away the scholarship basically just by saving the travel expenses.
That's true.
Of hunting around the different neighborhoods for one good player.
Here's the other
when
thing.
at every club in this country right now, and I've been on them, I'm going to shut up. A lot of head pros are lazy.
Yes, that's true.
They themselves are overweight. They themselves do not lead by example. They themselves go tell their kids to pick up balls. We just hit a basket. Go pick up your balls now.
Yes.
10 minutes. They're watching their clock the whole time, and they charge $120.
That was the other thing.
And they charge $120 an hour and talk up how good their stringer is.
That's the other thing.
And if you didn't play very well, then you can go get my strings from the pro shop, which don't make it that much of a difference in the first place.
Before we continue on this rant, but that's what I was going to say. The problem is that also the American coaches that we have here are not good.
Lazy.
Honestly, if one of my kids, when I can't teach them anymore, like my daughter, I'm not going to look for an American coach, and I hate to say that. I'm going to look for a foreign coach. And I'm saying that.
Touché.
Because they teach better. So.
The coaches, the lot are lazy. They like to listen to themselves talk.
They're counting time. They're making you pick up balls, and they're teaching you some Skittles.
They got the talk of the talk, but if you want to take one of them out and say, all right, well, let's back up your talk and let's see what you still got in the tank with all your talk, they don't show up. They themselves are overweight. They themselves are buttering up to the parents. It's a sad story, so I don't blame the athletic.
No, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with giving it. I'm just saying that's what's happening.
Moving forward, too much time on this. Number two, or my second reason behind this. Do you think that the overall importance of team sports here in this country for men that are pushed through media and through radio and through every app? Football, basketball, baseball, no disrespect to any of them. I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm a huge baseball and football fan. But tennis is a dying cause in a sense. So is baseball too, because no one watches it here.
Let me just tell you something. For the kids in our high school to play tennis, they have to pay a lot of money and travel far away. It is a dying cause. Yes.
Social media, reliance on cell phones, taking selfies while you're at practice, this all counteracts a champion. Too much reliance on team sports. Hey, my offensive line will take care of me. I might not be running the ball that well today, so we still might win the game. In tennis, you don't play well, you lose. If you don't practice every day and you're on your cell phone too much, your focus isn't there, and you're always staying rusty. What's the answer? You comment on it. I think personally it could be decades at this point, if ever, that we see a U.S. male at the very top of the game rolling off 15 majors like Sampras. I think he was the top. 14, yes. Yes, I remember Federer beat Roddick for his 15. Mm-hmm. Anyway, question number 7. Does Rafael Nadal have a straightforward path to tie Roger Federer's 20 majors? Straightforward path, meaning win this one, win the French next year.
I would say yes, but of course you never know what happens next year. Injuries can happen. So I always say nothing's ever guaranteed in life. I mean, we look with Djokovic. I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know.
If Rafael Nadal stays healthy, you just said that, if he can remain injury-free, I think he has a good shot. Number two, the question is, how does he prepare his next year's schedule?
Don't play the end of the year stuff. Forget about that.
Forget about it.
Concentrate on the Australian. Play a few tournaments like he did for Clay. Then a few Wimbledon, just show up, and U.S. Open won, and that's it.
Now
no more.
She just basically said a statement that's going to involve my next question. She just indicated why would you even play the rest of the year?
You wouldn't.
I couldn't agree more. You should not, unless you sign up for a sponsorship, go in there and drop a first round to a qualifier, or say you don't feel well. But there's no reason to. And this is the same.
And Djokovic and Nadal and Federer should follow the same schedule.
And follow the same
really
too.
Should.
This is the same reason why we have talked about and caught slack about saying the end of the year after the U.S. Open is just generally kind of lackluster in a way tennis, and the people that are playing it and risking everything
they need it.
They need it.
They need it
for a lot of different reasons. I think if Nadal stays healthy, stays injury free, prepares his schedule accordingly. Less tournaments, more practice matches, stay fit, obviously. Don't play Shanghai and Paris. I would not. And get ready for the Australian and give it a shot there. He's had good results there, and then get ready for the French. But I think he could win or surpass, or I think he could tie or surpass Federer's record next year. And I think the years aren't getting any easier for Nadal as he ages. Question number 8. Let's do this one quick.
Please, yes.
After the U.S. Open, what do you truly look forward to in terms of pro tennis competition? That is before the Australian Open 2020.
Nothing.
And here's a quick question. Just answer it. But why? But why don't you?
Because nobody's really. I mean, none of the top guys are really trying hard. They're trying to recover their body now.
They're tired. They may be lacking effort just to sell tickets if they have it in the bank. They maybe have already agreed to show up for $100,000. I think Zverev got paid $400,000 to show up at just one tournament just to play in it. $250,000. I think at this time of the year, a lot of people also, from fans, at least in the U.S., look forwards to.
They look forward to football. Football season just started. So
and basketball season starts in January.
Okay.
Anyway, question number 9. As a kid, what song did you like more? Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or Row, Row, Row Your Boat?
Row, row your boat.
That's a good answer.
I never liked Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star was kind of the girl song, and Row Row Your Boat. Like
I don't remember my parents singing that to me.
The boys,
but I do remember Row Row Your Boat in New York.
Yeah, the boys like boats and pirates. Row 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 Your Boat. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Yeah, I'm a Row Row Your Boat guy. Kind of like Peter Pan and Robin Hood. The soft dudes like Peter Pan. The ballers, we like Robin Hood. Okay, he was the ladies' man. Ready?
Yes.
Question number 10. Will Daniil Medvedev ever win a major?
Who knows? Maybe. I don't know.
I think if he channels his negative energy, at least sometimes, to the positive, hits the gym, works on fitness a little bit, get a little stronger, I say yes. If not, no. Question number 11. What is Naomi Osaka's outlook? Is she good to go moving forward?
I think so. She needs to rest her knee and just focus again. She's happy, so, find out. I know she has to decide in October, Japanese or American. So she needs to focus right now in being happy. Forget about the rapper boyfriend and restart again at the Australian.
Okay, then true or false? Is Ashley Barty, Naomi Osaka, and Andreescu the next big 3?
We'll see more than them. No, they're not the best. There will never be a next big 3 in the women. No, never.
It's a good topic, though.
No.
All right, last question. Does next year in men's tennis look a lot different? Meaning, will there finally be new faces holding major trophies?
Yes, I think so. Or old faces holding trophies they should have held.
And ending, I am a proponent of a 5th major that would use wooden tennis rackets to level the playing field at least a bit. Are you a proponent, or would you like to see a 5th major on a specified surface played with wooden tennis rackets with standard size heads?
Sure, but it's never going to happen.
Think about it. All right, that's it, everyone. Much love to all of you. Thanks so much to, again, Ivor Savage, President, CEO, owner of YTEX Strings, for helping us with these prize giveaways. George Thomas, don't forget to get your information to us and your selection. Thanks so much to all of you. Our last couple U.S. Open shows are going to be in the next day or two, or tomorrow and the next day, and that's it. And we're still going to do some shows until the Australian Open, but we'll kind of wait for you guys to tell us how, when, you know, how high to jump and when to jump and all
Simon
that stuff.
says.
Simon says.
Yeah.
We'll play that. Thanks so much to all of you. You are our players box. Without you, it's impossible. So much love. Mwah. Vamos. Adios, right?
Adios.